Hi, this is Lou Ann with Rockin Book Reviews, and I'm so happy to be here today with Abel Barrett, who is a former Los Angeles County Deputy District Attorney and U.S. Department of Justice Organized Crime Strike Force prosecutor. You're busy.
I was, yeah.
And you are also an avid animal lover and dedicated to the ethical treatment of all animals. Abel is a manager of the Last Road Dog Animal Sanctuary and its efforts to rescue dogs, cats, and horses. Plus, you do other animals too, don't you?
Correct. Really anything that maybe not snakes, but anything else.
And the Last Road Dog is an approved animal public welfare charity, and all the proceeds from your new book will be going to support this charity, correct?
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. Okay, share us a little bit about yourself, your life growing up, where you grew up, how many siblings you have, your favorite things to do, and maybe a couple of memories from your childhood that has had an impact on your life.
Sure. I grew up in a small suburb outside of Chicago, Winnetka. Pretty affluent now. It was okay then. it's really gotten, a few of my friends still live there, and I think the property taxes are more than my house payment, but so it was fun. It was a different time. You could go out and play with other kids, and till it was dark and no one said anything. No one worried you were going to get kidnapped or anything. And I had two older brothers, and I unfortunately had a sister that died when I think she was 5 before I was born, of kind of a rare thing. She was allergic to a shot that you normally get, and just went to the doctor one day, didn't come back, and passed away. And it's funny because our family was kind of tight-lipped about this. I really didn't discover it till I was maybe 10 or 11, which is really kind of weird to me thinking back. And I think it affected my mom definitely worse than anybody, and one of my older brothers. And so I always thought that was a weird incident, but I don't think I would have been born if she hadn't, because there was 10 years from me to the next, there's this huge gap. And so my mom was always very careful with me. She didn't want to lose me. So, but anyway, it was a different time. And it was during the Vietnam War. So they were in on that, but did not get drafted. They were in college. I can't remember exactly the deferment thing, but I was looking back, and what I thought was funny, when I was in that time, I looked up the last year they had, I don't know why I did this. I thought I was watching some movie about it. I think it was about the trial during some movie about the Chicago 7 or something. Anyway, I looked back to the dates, when the draft was, and up my birthday. Next year I would have come in, I was number 1.
Oh, wow.
I thought, 365 days, you might be somewhere. No, I was at the top of the list to go. And I probably would have gone, knowing me. So I just thought that was really kind of a weird thing to me. But the other thing that was kind of weird when I think back was my parents sent me 7th and 8th grade to St. John's Military Academy in Wisconsin. So they kind of ripped me away from my friends. And I think it was because my mom's best friend in college sent her son there. And when I look back, I always think, military school is kind of for every kid that's kind of a tough one to get along with or something. I didn't think I was that tough, really. But I went there, and I think from that point on, it was weird. I think I was very independent. It's sort of like boot camp for a 7th, and then went on into high school, which I didn't go. I went back to high school, so I had to reintegrate with my friends, which took a little bit, when you disappear and then you come back and blah blah blah. But I, because you're into sports and you do well, and we, won the state and this and that and other things, and it was pretty easy. It was just that whole experience. There's like probably a book in there somewhere. Military school is just a different thing, and so you come home maybe once every 8 weeks or something. Wasn't that far away, but that's pretty. I don't remember how old. Probably 12 or 13. Anyway, I was valedictorian in my class, which isn't saying much. Wow. Class was only 47 people. My high school class, which I did much worse, was it was 1,000 something. So, I go from this little tiny thing to this giant thing where the hallways were like. And the funny thing about my high school is a lot of Rock Hudson went there, and Margaret went there, who was really my favorite one, I think. A whole bunch of actors went there. It was very funny, little school. But so anyway, that's how I grew. I went to college in Miami of Ohio. I then went to law school in San Diego. And basically from law school on, I stayed there. I went to the DA's office in LA. And that's probably another book for about, I don't know, 5 or 8 years or something. And then I got recruited to the Department of Justice in Los Angeles. And I had enough of that after, I think it was about 2000 or so, 1999. And then didn't want to go to the other side, though. I just couldn't, although probably could have made good money, but didn't.
Do you feel that your military school had an impact on you going to law school?
Actually, I wanted to be a pilot. I
Really?
couldn't see worth a darn. I 2200 vision till I got LASIK like in 2000 or something. And now I'm 2020. Too bad, but I think it's better I didn't. But not really. I think I just wanted to be in trials, where somebody, I thought that was really cool, watching movies and so forth. And and it was a lot of fun. But I'm not a civil lawyer sitting at a desk making a lot of money. I had to be in trial action oriented. But then the judges kind of get to you. They're always beating on you, no matter what side you're on. They're just, especially in federal court. I had this witness one time. It's a funny story. It was from Australia. And so he had kind of a thick accent, but I mean, he's still speaking English. And the judge said to me, I can't understand him. And I said, well, I don't know what to do. He's, maybe I'll have him talk slower. And so he said, well, I want an English to English translator. And I swear I just couldn't stop laughing because I thought that is ridiculous, right? I mean,
pretty ridiculous.
And I'm thinking I have to then ask the question in English, and the translator has to ask the witness in English. He has to answer in English and say it back to me in English. I thought, now that is Saturday Night Live. Anyway, from there, it's, always had dogs, loved them. That was always my dream, our dream, my wife and I, to have a place where basically this is for unadoptable dogs. Like people call me up. My mom died. She has this dog, and he's great. He does I say, well, this isn't the place. This is for the misfits, I would say. They're either, something physically is wrong with them we have to take care of, or basically they're screwed up mentally. They don't, very hard for someone else to adopt them. So we keep them, and they're like family. So
how many do you have?
We have 7 dogs, 7 cats, and 3 horses. But we have some little ones now. So getting bigger dogs, we got to be careful they don't get eaten or anything. When you have a lot of big ones, you have big. When you have small ones, you got to
get aggressive. Yeah.
And it kind of went to the charity in 2018, I think, because really I'd retired at that point from everything and committed to doing it. And we've raised a lot of money. For us, it's a lot, but we do special projects like the hurricanes. We always, try to raise around $10,000, add it to a lot of dogs get, either left behind and then disappear and need to get new homes, go back with their owners. We did the Afghanistan dogs we helped out that were left there, like Jackson and Jordy that are here. Jackson was run over in the middle of the road, and Jordy, his brother, was on top of him. And they're these little white, well, they're not that little, but they're white American Eskimo, a lot of hair and big bark. Anyway, so he needed a new titanium hip, which was $7,000. So we got him, and I think they're such barkers that I'm sure anybody could take them. And then Jenny disappeared, got her from Best Friends, and I think she's part coyote actually, but she's really one of my favorites. But she ran away for 21 days, got out. First dog I really ever lost, and I never lost hope, really never. Kept looking and putting ads in the paper. One day I got a call on a Friday, and we found your dog, Jenny. She's run over. I go, does it have a collar? No. Well, so I didn't think that was Jenny. She had so I went out there to this place, and that was pretty gruesome, but it wasn't her. Thank goodness. But so that was kind of traumatic, and I didn't get to sleep. And I was slept in a Saturday. I get a message on my phone. we found your dog Tate. And I'm thinking, Tate died like 4 years ago. I mean, how did you found Tate? And then I remembered I had put Tate's tag on Jenny just because I
Oh,
didn't have a Jenny tag, right? But it had the right address. And I tell you, I was so happy. A couple of years later, a year ago, exactly, she got rectal cancer. And they said, oh, we should put her down. I said, no. And we have Washington State University about an hour and a half away. It's a vet hospital. I went there, and Dr. Jimenez, a great doctor there. And so we did chemo, we did radiation, and it was big. I was like, oh, this is not good. I kept at it though. And it's almost gone now. And so I knew she was a fighter. I just, for some reason, thought she could fight this off. And I'm so happy I did. I don't, the bill is like 12,000. It's like unbelievable. It's expensive. Generally, we do those projects internally. Like my parents left me some money, and I put it in a foundation, and it kind of fuels the cost of food and those kind of things. The extraordinary cost, like Jackson and hurricanes and Afghan dogs, like all this money, if this book sells anything, will be kind of extraordinary things when they happen. Like the hurricane in Florida. We haven't quite done that yet, but I'm sure there's some misplaced dogs there.
When you rescued the military dog,
we kind of added to somebody much bigger and badder. So they were like raising a couple 100,000. We threw in like 10, but every 10 rescues gave 5 or 10. It's a lot of money. So usually we add to a bigger pot, because 10, I didn't think you could fly anybody out of there, but maybe 1 or 2, right? So we just added to a much bigger project.
Did you go personally?
No, I'm not that good. But there were some great other people that were doing it from all over the world, by the way. And no one really knows the exact number. I just thought it was like one more plane. You couldn't like load them on. And there's a lot of money. You train these, you just leave them there. But they left a lot of stuff there. Things I can see, dogs and people. I'm not sure they should. And I know that a lot of people raise money to get people out as well. When you leave Americans there, I think that's not the best thing in the world either. But hopefully as many got out as possible. And I know also gave to this, there was not a lot, but this beagle experiment that was kind of out there by Dr. Fauci or something. They rescued about 4,000 beagles, which is a lot of beagles. And they're a handful. They're a handful, right? I mean, they're diggers, and they're a handful. So they're slowly getting them back to where they can be placed. And that's a big, that's a lot of dogs. So whatever we can raise, we try to help out.
That's great. So why was the reason you went into organized crime?
Oh, they recruited me, and I watched the movie The Untouchables. I said, that's for me. It was funny because it came out with Kevin Costner the same year that I got an offer.
Really?
Well, I saw it in the summer, and then in September or October, I got the offer.
Because you were from Chicago?
Yeah, that too. A lot of, it was a lot more activity there in New York than Los Angeles, but it was fun. We were all over the country. It was really exciting. I was about in my mid 30s probably, so it was fun. Exciting.
Somehow that doesn't sound fun to me.
Now I'm like smarter than that, but it was exciting at the time, a little too exciting maybe. It was fun. In the DA's office, you used to get a case kind of handed to you sometimes, and you didn't get to investigate it. There, I got to investigate the case from the beginning to the end, and then try it. And then the part I didn't like was, even if there was an appeal, you had to do that too. And I actually had a case go all the way to the Supreme Court, but some other guy swiped it from me up there. The attorney something who does appeals, but actually won that case. And I actually ended up getting a compliment from, I can't remember the judge. I think it was Rehnquist or somebody said it was a pornography case, which I could care less about, but I got sucked into it, and said that it was a case about when an underage person is in a movie, like they were 16 at the time. And this said blanket, no matter what, you didn't have to know the person was underage. And I proved he created this organized crime where it would be career prosecutors that were sort of not subject to political pressure, where they wouldn't lose their job or anything. And so it goes way back to the 60s. And so Thornburg, who then became Attorney General after, I think, Reno or right before, he basically decided he didn't like the independents because he couldn't really push them around and tell them what to do. So he kind of disbanded it and sort of just wherever your office was, he merged it into the DA, the U.S. Attorney's office in Los Angeles and Chicago and Cleveland and New York. And so it kind of disappeared. And that's when I said I'm leaving, when the independence is gone.
Okay, is that one of the reasons you mentioned that you prefer animals to most people?
Yeah, it's a sad statement, isn't it? Not that people are bad. They're good, but they just are so different. Their temperament is always the same. They're so loyal. It's incredible. It really is. And they're very difficult not to love. So that's kind of where I get it from. They really are just easygoing.
But there's mean dogs just like mean people. So
yeah, I don't run into them. I haven't run into them. It's weird. I just get lucky. And I probably had 40 dogs plus. I don't think I've ever had one where it was mean. It's weird. I mean, maybe I'm just lucky, or maybe my temperament and their temperament. I don't know. I'm sure you give me a pit bull that's been trained, which I won't take because kill every dog here. Maybe I just couldn't take the chance. Like come home one day. So, which is sad because they're one of the best dogs when they're just kind of normal. But if they've been trained, obviously, I'm sure that maybe that's not somebody I could take. But
I think some people just have that charisma. I've got a son that can walk up to any horse or any dog or anything, whether they're wild or mean or whatever, and they just cower down and let him pet them.
Yeah, I think there's something, some vibe coming off of you that tells the animal you're okay, you're not okay. Although I do have I have one that bit some little kid. Just nipped him, and so when I picked up Jackson and Jordy were in Indiana, I continued to Baltimore to pick her up, and she does not like probably men about 18 to 22, something to, had a bad experience or something, but I find her to be a very good watchdog though. Kind of keeps people in line. She'll not really bite, but give you a little nip on the trousers.
We had bad luck with dogs. My first wedding present was was a Mexican Chihuahua mixed with a toy poodle. Oh, and yeah. It has the Chihuahua's body, but its fur was straight, but it grew like the poodle's does.
Yeah.
And, but anyhow, everybody couldn't make out, what is that, a schnauzer or whatever? But that one was just like a child to us. I mean, we didn't have children for a few years, and that was our child. But after we had children, we get dogs, and I mean, one after another. We had a bloodhound that was one of the largest bloodhounds I think they're ever made. Ooh. And we couldn't keep him in the yard no matter what we did, no matter how thick of a chain we bought. And then we had another one that was a jumper, and he could jump our 7-foot fence. And we just
I had one like that, but he did it. It was funny. She did it like I put her in the backyard, and we had a big wooden fence, and I think it had to be 6 or 7 feet. Put her in the back, and I came to the front, and there she is standing. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I'm thinking, didn't I just put you in the back? So she would grab the top and go over. But the thing is, she just wanted
That's what ours did.
She didn't run away. That was the good thing. So she got to not do that anymore. I don't know why. I thought, oh boy, this is going to be a problem. But no, she didn't do it after that. So yeah, I know what you mean. That can be a tough one.
And then I'm sure you're familiar with Japanese Akitas.
Oh yeah.
And they're supposed to be a family dog, but when we got it as a pup, we also had a little baby. And every time the baby would go to put his hand on him, the pup would growl. I said, he's jealous of her. And my husband said, no, but when she was 2.5, he attacked her. We're just so grateful she wasn't blinded, but tore her tear duct out, and there was scars all over her face where, its teeth marks went in, but it was a nightmare. But we've always found people that like had ranches or large farms or something that were willing to take the dogs, and they worked out great with them.
Yeah,
But
they sort of have so much land. They sort of, they stick around the house, but they can go out and come back, and they get tired out. And it's nice that you did that, man, because I have a lot of people to call with biters, and they're less, there's not much you can do. If I
well, in
take
most
them
cases, they were
out,
purebreds, and they were good dogs. We couldn't see just having them put down.
Yeah.
So,
the problem is they sometimes breed them so pure that it's a problem. They get to the point where maybe a little other dog in there might help. So this group has a lot more purebreds in it than we've had. Usually it's mutts are here, which are generally very well behaved. And I had one, Demiri, who was in the book. Actually, the book is dedicated to Demiri. She was a mother in a puppy mill, and they kept her in this little cage. And I mean, she wouldn't let you get Shane a leash on her if her life depended on it. So, but at some point, she just learned to walk right next to me. I mean, there could be 20 people, nothing. I used to walk down this one area in town. It was a green, and people would have their dogs on leashes, and they're going, how did you train her to do that? I didn't do anything. Like I'm some big trainer. I'm like, no, she just did this instinctively. And she was great, really great. And not a word out of her. I think she barked once, but she was really something, so some dogs just totally surprise you. You think, oh, this is going to be a real, and she just was perfect.
again, I reiterate that I think some people just have a knack.
Well, I'm glad
The
I got it.
animals feel comfortable around them. My
I
dad
think
was that
people
way.
don't feel that comfortable. When I was a prosecutor, they never felt that comfortable.
So that's why, boy, animals are easier.
They always had looking at me like they had something to hide, and so.
Okay, we got to move on here. Okay, so tell me about the book you just wrote.
The Great Tree.
Tell us a little bit about.
Well, it started 25 years ago in 1997, if you can believe it. I started that when they didn't even have computers. I don't think it was on a Selectric typewriter, but I was working on a project, and I was looking, it was in Oregon, and I was looking out the window, and I saw it was just on the horizon, a little sort of hill, and there was this perfect tree. I mean, to me, it looked perfect. It was big, and it was sitting by itself. And it was just, a perfect outline, and the sunset behind it. And I thought, man, that's a great tree. And that's really where the idea came from. And the rest of it sort of just flowed, and to the point where I thought, where did Santa Claus even come from? And who thought of like putting this stuff on tree, the whole tree idea for Christmas? Like, who started that? I mean, what guy, girl, woman, God, who, like with the star at the top and all. I'm like, so I started looking a little. I couldn't find anything really. It seemed like it just happened. So I thought, well, here's a story of how it happened. And and then the dog kept changing names, because I had different dogs over that time. Like one, it was called the Andrew and Buck, and then it was Andrew and somebody else. And then the dog would pass away. I would put the thing away. So finally, in the last couple of years, I got kind of serious about it for some reason. And then Jenny came along, so she finally took over the lead. And then I started getting pictures drawn by independent artists, and they really sort of made the book. They really met the atmosphere and so forth, and all over the world. I mean, from Thailand to Africa to the United States. It was in this website where they sort of sign up and you tell them what you want and so forth. And it sort of came together. Then you have to get it, the whole proofing and this and then publishing. Self-publishing, the whole, and it was kind of more fun at that point to see if I could get this baby out the door, at least one, right? Just one. It kind of took off a little bit. I don't know how, but so it was a long process in coming, but I think it turned out okay. And I even had basically an editor over in, where was she? Was really good. She would read, she read it and sent me some ideas to change things a little bit and this and that, and it really came together. So we're pretty proud we got it out the door anyway. And on your show, look at this.
I just love it. I think it's a beautiful cover and everything. So Do you have it with you there that you can show us?
Oh, we always have a copy of the book. So let's see if you can, let's see, do I have to get back there? Can you see that?
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's a lot brighter when you have it in person, the physical copy. So.
Yeah, so it's about 40 some pages and it's color pictures. So it really it's for the whole family. I mean, I even like it. I don't think there's any age range. There's nothing.
No, I think it's just a good family reading book.
Yeah, kind of like the night before Christmas. Like it was in that genre.
So
yeah.
you have a giveaway for us. Can you tell us what you're giving away?
Well, we're giving away the book. If you want to win that, we've got our trusty water bottle with our name on it. Well, that's the foot logo. And then our logo is on the front. And those are our colors, black and red, and you fill it up with water. And when you're going hiking with your dog, you can drink water or feed them. And we also have this was given to me by this company, Beho, and it's a backpack and a dog carrier. So not a big dog, but a little dog fits in.
Don't want to put your German Shepherd in there.
And he kind of got his head out here, and you put his stuff in here.
Oh,
It
fun.
really could be a backpack or a dog carrier, but they say it's a dog carrier for a little guy. Like even Jackson could fit in here, probably. I'm not sure he'd like it. And then it opens up and put stuff in there and make it a little bigger. But actually, it's really nice. So that'd be fun to have. You can just use it as a backpack if you don't have a dog. So
very good.
and we've got this digital story called The Dog's Tale, A Dog's Journey, which we'll give you a digital download site. You can just go down. I think it's about maybe 12 minutes, but it's really we made it for. I used to work at a no-kill shelter in Idaho, and I made it for a fundraiser, and it's kind of generic, but I really, really like it. So I think if you watch it, you'll have fun watching it.
Sounds fantastic. Okay. Is there any final words you'd like to say before we close?
No, I just thank everybody. If you could buy the book, it'd be great. You're really supporting a good cause. All the money goes to whatever special project we have going, and there are a lot of them. None of it really goes to the day-to-day operations. We handle that. So I didn't write the book to make money. We've got enough going on right here, but I think it's a really good cause, and I think it's a good book. You'll enjoy it. You won't. And it's nice. I think it's $12.50 paperback and a little more there is a hardcover. And that's kind of nice. And we in the I should say in the giveaway, we'll be giving away signed hardcover books because I have a whole bunch of those. So you'll be able to get those.
Great.
And I really appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Well, you've been a joy. Very interesting person.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
And we hope that all of you out there will search the universe through books. Goodbye now.
Good night.